This is Support is Sexy, episode 136, and today we're going to talk about momentum. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm so excited to have you here. You know, it just would not be the same without you. And I hope you had an incredible weekend. I had a good weekend. It was pretty quiet. But, you know, over the weekend, and I would say over the past week, actually, I have been thinking a lot about momentum. Of course, we all know what momentum is. Well, I'm talking in relation to business or creating something in the world. And for me personally, about the podcast. And I've just been noticing the momentum pick up some. So this is when your business or whatever you're doing starts to move forward, or you actually sense it moving forward. You sense people getting behind it. You sense people even just checking it out. That is all a part of momentum when you're creating a business. And of course, you hope that continues on and you continue to build on that. But I thought about momentum, what it means, how we get there, what to do when we get there, and that kind of thing. So I wanted to share that with you all, what I'm calling my 4 C's of momentum. I don't know why it's a C. C's just came to me. Plus, I like alliteration. So the 4 C's of momentum. So one of them I thought about, first of all, is commitment. Even before you get to the point where you have some momentum, you gotta be committed. And I know I have certainly learned that with the podcast. Remain committed to the project, even when things may seem quiet, or it might seem like with whatever you're doing, no one gets it yet. Or in those moments when you feel tired. I've been very honest with you guys about moments when I love doing the podcast, but I'm tired because so many other things are going on. Not necessarily bad things, just other things. You know, your list gets longer and longer and you're trying to fit everything in and figuring out how to juggle, when to delegate, and all of those things. No matter what, though, you have to remain committed, because that is how you pick up momentum. And the thing about remaining committed before you get momentum is that when momentum does pick up, you can continue doing what you were already doing. So you don't want to try to remain committed once things start picking up, because I believe that can make you a little harried. It's kind of scary and all of those things. So you want to try to get in that space of being committed to whatever you're doing when nobody's looking, right? Be the best that you can, even when nobody's watching, listening, subscribing, whatever it is. Remain committed to what you're doing. The next C is consistency. You must remain consistent. So not only being committed to what you're doing, but doing it on a regular basis. Now, what regular looks like is up to you. If you were doing, say, a podcast, since that's my example, if you say, I'm going to do a podcast once a month, then it's once a month. And then if you move up to once a week, or as I'm doing 5 days a week, or as some people do 7 days a week, whatever it is, though, you want to remain consistent. Now, where I will say that I have fallen short on this sometimes, and I'll explain more about that later, is things going up at a certain time of day. I love to post my podcast at early wee hours in the morning. So this way people usually have them when they first wake up, even though times are different everywhere. You know, we have people listening in 73 countries around the world. So whatever time it is wherever you are is whatever time it is wherever you are. But for me, remaining consistent and publishing at a certain time of day is something that I strive to do. There are a few days in between that it doesn't happen. This episode is one of them. It'll be going up later in the day because I really want to give some thought to what I was going to post. But again, remain consistent to whatever you're doing. Commit to it being every day. For me, it's 5 days a week, and it has been since we launched on the 4th of July. 5 days a week, whatever time of day I have to make that happen, that's when it goes up. And I will say for myself, one of the hardest times for me was when I moved from New York to Atlanta. And during that move, some of my equipment didn't arrive when I thought it would, or it took a little bit longer, and the setup that I had wasn't quite right during that time. I still remain consistent with posting every day, even when, say, some interviews were canceled or just things were just going, I wouldn't say things were going wrong. It was an adjustment. I had to make a lot of adjustments, and it took some time for me to do that, but I remained consistent 5 days a week, posting those episodes. So for you, think about what you're doing and where are the spaces where you can be more consistent with what you're doing. Again, consistent doesn't mean doing more, but being more consistent, doing it more regularly. So this way people can depend on you being there with your content information, having your store open at the time you say, or explaining why it's not open at the time you say, but really being committed and consistent with what you're doing. The next thing I thought about was courage. And courage, I will say, when it comes to momentum is once things start to pick up, don't get scared. And that may sound like something that's counterintuitive when you think about it as a tip or an idea. But oddly, I think when things start to pick up momentum, people start to pay attention. For some of us, there may be a tendency to shrink instead of shine. And I do not want you to shrink. I want you to shine. So when people start paying attention or asking questions about what you're doing or showing interest in what you're doing, and people, this is whether it's your customer, readers, the press, whatever it is, when people start paying attention, never shrink, always shine. Continue what you're doing, remain consistent, remain committed, but do not think that, oh no, now people are paying attention. Now I'm going to get nervous. Now I'm going to shrink back. And like I said, it might not sound like something that happens to us, but it does in what we all refer to it as in another way, imposter syndrome. You might start going through the whole thing of thinking, well, am I really the one to be doing this? And why are they paying attention to me? And oh my God, it's working and everyone's looking. And hey, those feelings might be natural. You go through it, but keep moving forward. There's a reason that people are paying attention. They like what you're doing. They like your product. They like your content. They like your services. Whatever the reason is, don't question it, or rather don't question yourself. People see something in you and the work that you do, and it's working. And you're probably in your flow. You get in your flow and things start to work. You're focused on what you're doing. People start to pay attention if they like what you're doing, and it just starts to move on. You gain momentum, and that is a good thing. So never shrink, always shine. And the last thing I'll say is continue what you're doing. Once you find that groove, once you find that flow, take stock of what's working. Continue to do that, and then look at the things that aren't working. You know, we all want to get better, continue to get better, continue to share information, which is what the podcast is all about, getting these other women on the show, telling you what's worked for them, what hasn't worked for them, where they've fallen short, where they've learned a lot of lessons. All of that is information for us to continue to do what we're doing, to continue to learn, and to continue to get better. And remember, you're going to refine things as you go along. So don't take your foot off the gas. Continue to go, continue to be self-aware, continue to take stock, as I said, of what's working and refine what's not working. So those are my C's of momentum. Let me know what you think about momentum and how things are going in your business, how things are picking up, where you want to move in a different direction and that kind of thing. You can always mention me on social media at Elayne Fluker or at Support is Sexy. I'll make sure to respond to you. I'm pretty good about that. Also, don't forget to go to supportissexypodcast.com so you can check out interviews with some of the other women entrepreneurs that I've spoken to, inspiring women. You know, I am inspired, honestly, every day that I get to speak to these women. One, I'm humbled by that, but also being able to share their stories and seeing the impact that their stories have on people, seeing the momentum, as we just talked about. It is such an honor. So if you haven't seen everything or listened to everything or been engaged with some of these women, and you can always mention them and follow them and talk to them as well. Everybody's very open, receptive, and really in a space of sharing, which makes me very happy. So go to supportissexypodcast.com. Find the women you're interested in. If you know somebody in particular, or just browse around and see what's there. I would love to have you. All right. So as always, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. Happy Monday. Our week is started. So I want you to go out there, continue to keep moving toward that momentum, get it going. And if it's going, keep it going. And now you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.